Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time to get serious, Merlini. Put that phone away because we've got Dota to talk about here. And look at you with your cups, dude. This is becoming a problem. Not only are you not using a coaster,
I need to be hydrated during the game. Okay, I'm yelling. I'm flaming.
Then cover up the label, man. Jeez, this
Whatever.
is serious. This is serious.
This is serious. This is why I'm drinking.
Oh boy, we've got our second game on our hands here, guys. The Sneaky Nyx Assassins versus Revenge. First, we're going to take a look at some standings. We've got Evil Geniuses 5-0, but today is the big day. We'll know what's happening here coming up pretty soon with who will be moving on and who will not. E-Hug looking a little bit rough. Even if they win their next 3 games, they'll still be right on the cusp, and not so good for them. No Earth Spirit. They're the only ones that are completely out of it for now, but that will change today. We'll know who's joining them in the bottom of the barrel.
SNA has...
SNA's in good shape.
Are they in good shape?
They're in okay shape.
They have to play Revenge,
standings?
E-Hug, Liquid, and NAR.
Oh,
I don't know. They have to play some tough teams, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. They're in okay shape. They'll have to play well, but what's their standing right now? I actually Roland cut it.
They already lost to EG, so that's one loss out of the way.
One. Okay, I gotcha.
They're 1-2.
All right, 1-2. Oh yeah, all right. That's not. I thought they were 2-1.
They could end up 5-2, but that means they had to beat Liquid and NAR. So let's just say they drop one of those 2 games, and they would end up 4-3, which is still pretty close.
Yeah,
but they have to win this.
4-3 is that magic number where a lot of teams can get that, and that's like nasty tiebreak scenarios if you have like 4 teams that are 4-3, and then there's no like head-to-head to break it up. That's worst case scenario. But before we get into this game, guys, I forgot to talk about it last game. Stretch goals have been announced. Oh boy, that's exciting. There's a Reddit thread on the front page.
Do we have an overlay?
Do we? Oh, we do have an overlay. Look, Roland was ready for this. Look at this, guys, very quickly. 10,000. Interviews have already been unlocked, and up next is the All-Star Pudge Wars matchup, and we unlocked that in about $2,500, so we're very close to the 30K raised. Then after that, I believe that is the inflatable pool party. Oh yeah, and then at 50K we get the fistful of tangos. Things get interesting later on, though, particularly that $150,000 mark. The clean shave, the community.
What about 60, 80, 100?
Well, you know, that's the text is too small. I can't read it from back here.
Ping pong tournament.
Oh yeah, ping pong. Then we had
tag team Dota.
The tag team Dota.
You need to get your glasses updated, dude.
I kind of do, but 100,000. What is that? The Summit music video. Oh yeah. Then the clean shave, and then finally, wait, Young Lean is not on here. What happened to Young Lean?
Enchantress cosplay.
Enchantress cosplay is 322, but is that? Young Lean is supposed to be 250.
We need a horizontal overlay, not a vertical.
Yeah, that doesn't fit the 1080,
need a landscape
1080p.
We're still yelling at you. It's always a producer's
fault. Roland, we need more graphics. Oh boy, let's hop into this draft here. It's getting well underway.
Well, we could just make it sideways, and everyone has to turn
your head.
Turn your monitor.
That doesn't really.
Have you ever had a monitor that turns?
I have actually. I used to have a stand where it rotates. It's kind of cool. I always wanted to have. Like, I always saw pictures of people at the Twitch office that had like giant TVs that were turned on their side, so they were up and down, but then there were 3 of them jammed together. That was their so it like just makes one big giant monitor. It's pretty cool.
Why don't we just get one big giant monitor?
I don't know. It's more expensive, I guess.
Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah, actually, probably not, because you need 2 graphics cards to run 3 monitors, unless you have like some super special niche card. I don't know. It's tricky business. But, so yeah, those are our stretch goals, guys. Of course, the bundle is still available. $10, you get the axe set, the loading screen. 2.5 of every 10 goes into that prize pool, and now you've got stretch goals to unlock. So if you like them, you hate them, get out there on Reddit and complain about it, because that's what Reddit is for. But, Mr. Merlini, we've got a game, and uh-oh. The drafter of Revenge has disconnected. Green.
Why is Green drafting in? Who the hell is Green? Is he even on Revenge?
So Revenge have been having some roster issues recently. We talked about it last game. Smash has parted ways with the team.
That's the only important part.
That's really important, but now they still have stand-ins. As we can see, Slayer G, the team is coming through here. He is back, but hopefully they didn't burn through. Well, they'll have 20 seconds here to draft.
Just pick Sand King already.
Yeah, we know it's going to be Sand King. So SYVD and a bunch of blank spaces. I'm not familiar with either of these players. I don't know. But we've got Mihawk and Ewo. Ewo was the Ursa, notorious for handing over the Aegis and Cheese a few days prior. And Green, I don't know him. I'll be honest. He's a new face around Revenge. So we'll see how they fare here. They had 3 stand-ins yesterday. It was Ewo, Mihawk +3, and they were not looking so hot. They lost to E-Hug for the last game yesterday, didn't they?
They lost.
They lost.
I don't remember exactly who they lost to, but in their other games, they weren't doing so bad. They beat NAR. They beat CNB. So they're
When they
looking
had Smash.
decently. But
When they
yeah,
had
now when they had Smash, and then now they're 2-1. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know about old Revenge. Oh, they lost versus EG too. So
That's pretty expected.
well, that one they were actually really close to winning. That was the closest game that I've seen EG play.
That was the game when we all
America.
hopped aboard the Revenge bandwagon. We're like, all right, they can tango with the top. Maybe they're favorites to make it
Then
to the finals.
boom,
But
throws.
all of a sudden, something happened, and Smash said, you know what, guys?
Probably.
I don't know how I feel about you guys.
Some crap to do with TF4 qualifiers.
Yeah,
more likely than not.
visas and roster issues. Jesus, been reading too much Twitch chat. Well, no Sand King here, Merlini. Clockwork will
Dude,
be
why are they not picking Sand King?
the second pick for the Sneaky Nyx Assassins, and I don't know. I
Sand
really
King's
don't
OP.
know.
He's so good.
Finally finished that interview, and I edited some things, but I left the Sand King in there. I still think Sand King is where it's at. TI4, you'll see Sand King. You heard it here first.
Oh, thanks. We'll probably see 50 other heroes too. Why, thank you.
Sand King will be one of them, though. Just saying. Safe bet. Put your rares on it.
Speaking of rares,
Speaking of
this
rares,
is the first game that you've actually placed a bet on.
Merlini showed me how to bet, and this is it.
have to
I won't tell you who my rares are on because
You have to be careful to not be biased, or
Yeah,
else
I'm not biased.
the chat will know who you're betting for.
I don't even remember who I bet on. I've already forgotten. It was so confusing.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a secret. What are the odds here coming to this guy? I think it was 65-35.
I would
and
probably say.
it was in favor of Sneaky Nyx, right?
Yeah, that's. Seeking Nyx aren't the strongest, but I think if Revenge had Smash, it'd probably be like
Yes. It's the
55-45.
It's the stand-in factor that really tips the scales here. And also the Sneaky Nyx Assassins have been looking pretty decent. They've had
They're
some
hit or miss.
some ups and downs.
They got
but
rocked by CMB.
yeah,
They got rickrolled.
that's true. All of these teams, I feel like, suffer from inconsistency issues, except EG. But all the others in this qualifier, like some games, they look really, really good, and then you see them against opponents that you
Yeah.
think they should be heavy favorites.
E-Hug had
against,
like
and-
2 misses and 2 big hits.
Yeah.
What other teams are there? CMB is just like, sometimes you're like, Nedbone, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And then Revenge.
Other games, you're like, Nedbone, you're killing it, dude.
Revenge is no Smash, no win. Nyx Assassins, they got rocked by CMB, but they did very well in their other games. And
What happened
yeah,
in
you
that
just never
CMB
know.
game? Was it just a weird draft? I don't
CMB
remember
versus
that one
Nyx? It was the
specifically.
Super Stack Tavo and the Lifestealer.
Oh, that was that Lifestealer game really early on. Yeah.
And
that
Nedbone was on the Darkseer, and he had some big praise.
Yeah, he was praying big. Yes. Well, Rubik, the third choice for Revenge here. This is a really slow draft. Both teams burning through all of their bonus time here. And Sneaky Nyx Assassins, they will get Leshrac to go with the Shadow
Ew.
Demon.
Oh,
You-
Leshrac.
You don't like Leshy? Come on, man.
I
He got
generally-
buffed.
I generally prefer Lena.
Okay.
Because I like the
Ooh,
burst.
Yeah, the burst is good. Lesh is good for knocking down towers, but what do you think about the buff to the old Lightning Storm there?
It's
Now,
alright.
slows for 70, basically max slow for 0.5 seconds. That's enough to proc you down to the
PBD
base.
destroyed me in NEL once with Leshrac.
Ooh.
But other than that,
in 6.81?
with yeah, in 6.81.
Okay, with the slow. Was the slow a factor, or
Not
just
really.
his epic splitters? Did he diabolic edict all over your body?
Yes, he did.
Damn.
Edict is ownage.
Yeah, edict is still so good. The cast time is a little ridiculous. You see Lesh just like raising his arms, and he is with Clockwork though.
But it's
Lesh-
really good with a hero like Shadow Demon because
Yeah.
you can set up perfectly. But they have to have good coordination.
Yeah, it's not that hard to pull off. It's
On a hero like Marana who can leap out instantly.
yeah,
you
that's
know.
true. It's within the skill set of Sneaky Nyx Assassins. I have faith, but I guess can be tricky to time. Also against Darkseer, if he
Well,
searches.
They also run Shadow Demon or / Bane Marana a lot, so I think they're used to landing these dual hero combos.
Yeah, that's true. That is. The Sneaky Nyx Assassins have been pretty aggressive, and they've been playing a little bit of Nyx Assassin as well. That's been the IX Mike hero. But, oh, here we go. Elder Titan. That'll probably be your Mike this game. Mustache Mike over there.
Mike's playing Clockwork, bro.
Clockwork?
Snob plays Elder Titan.
Oh, is that a mid Elder Titan?
I think so.
Oh, that's interesting. So we've seen a fair bit of Elder Titan play recently, but
We've seen a lot of Elder Titan fail.
exclusively in the off lane and almost exclusively as a failure as well. It has not been going well for Elder Titan this tournament. But, no, maybe they'll prove us wrong. Elder Titan mid,
It's alright.
yeah, it's okay. But I feel like he doesn't use
He's like
the-
5 out of 10 in terms of mids. Maybe even worse.
In
terms
I think
of-
that's generous.
In terms of competitive mids, 3 out of 10. In terms of just general all-around mids, he's like 5 out of 10.
Okay, yeah, I would have said 4, so that's right smack dab in the middle. The problem is he just doesn't do a lot with the farm and solo experience. It's not bad for him to get it, but there are other heroes like, like a Tinker or something. He does so much more of that experience and farm he gets in the mid lane.
It's just
Scales
different.
better. I mean, that's a very specific example, but there's a lot of other just classic mid heroes, even like a Puck, a tempo controller like Invoker, OD. They all either do more with the farm or more with the experience. Elder Titan, he's just a little bit bland. We haven't seen anybody really make huge plays. I still haven't seen any of these like next level Gosu echo stomps that you keep flicking your bean to.
Only a couple people can do it, so that's why you haven't seen them.
Only a few Gosu players in China can do it, and that's about it. Or Asia, I guess. That's the what's the equivalent of Gosu
Ice, Ice,
in
Ice, and
Chinese?
MSS. Those are your 2 Elder Titan players to watch out for.
All right. Well, I'll keep my eyes open.
And Storm Spirit, with very little disable on the side of Sneaky Nick Assassin. Clockwork can't do crap versus Storm.
Yep.
Leshrac can do crap against Storm, but only if he gets
Not
an easy
really.
stun or if... No, Shadow Demon Leshrac, dude.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, the carry
Ooh.
Tiny. I like Tiny.
Tiny without Wisp. I like this. We've seen Fnatic almost exclusively be the ones to do this Tiny without Wisp strategy, but I think it's pretty viable. He is really scary.
Only
as a
against one
position
melee,
one.
though. It's like, meh.
Yeah, he may get kited a little bit. That one melee is Darkseer, but if he can get up in your face, he'll be doing the deeps. A lot of squishy
Dude, he
heroes on the
trucks
side of Revenge.
melee carries. Aside from Lifestealer, I'd say, because Lifestealer just eats Tiny alive. Other than that, like most melee carries just get obliterated by Tiny.
Yeah.
Even like standard Manta heroes like Luna also get obliterated by Tiny. He's really good against Manta carries.
Yeah, he'll be branching people left and right. Now, item checks. SNA, how's he doing with Elder Titan? Oh, he's got the World Forgers. The cool items,
Yeah,
the
I've seen
awesome-looking
Snaz.
anvil.
He likes playing.
Yeah?
He likes playing this hero.
Yeah, I like this set. I like the horns. It makes him look
I know
awesome.
Sna a lot better than I know Revenge.
Okay. Good.
They're my friends, yo.
Sense some bias. Oh, okay.
Oh no, I just know.
Oh,
who's
you
gonna
mean like
play
you've
what.
played with them more?
Yeah,
see.
I know that
gotcha.
Mike's gonna go Clockwork. I know Sna's gonna go Elder Titan.
I gotcha. Well, the Radiant side, let's introduce some players here. We've got Mihawk playing on the Ishkafel Darkseer. Very few cosmetics, and he'll have his work cut out for him
Call
here.
him a noob.
Call him I'm not
He
doing
needs that set that we talked about the other day.
Yeah, that badass
He has
set.
the freaking Aqua Wander. What is that?
Yeah, I
It doesn't even look like it's a set.
It's a collar.
It's a bracer.
It's covered by his beard. Like, that's the worst cosmetic for Darkseer. You can't see his neck.
You can kind of see it.
I mean,
You can
kind of.
spin the model around.
That's already too much work. If I have to spin the model around, then I've already given up. In the middle, it will be one of their stand-ins, SYVD, tagged up as Slayer G, playing on the Dazzle. And in the mid, this is, I don't know what to call this guy. Let's see, maybe we can look at his profile, and does he have a name?
Call him
Nope.
Storm.
Or if it's private, Storm, Blank Man, Lover of Brackets. I don't know. Maybe his family owns
Maybe
a bracket
it's-
company.
Maybe it's in some other language and doesn't display on your computer.
That's possible. Green, the mysterious new player on Revenge, will be on the Rubik, and he'll be joining Ewo in the offlane on Mirana, the guy that you just don't want him anywhere near the Roche pit. I'm not going to let him live it down. That was the weirdest thing I've seen this side of the Mississippi. And I literally mean this side of the Mississippi. I'm new to the West Coast.
Why not both sides of the Mississippi?
Well, that's true.
Did you see weirder sides on the other side? Weirder
I
sights?
did see some weird things, but maybe nothing quite on that
Well,
level.
Whitebeard in mid, setting up for a stun. Leshrack's a little bit too far behind, but can he hit the stun?
Ooh, there is your Split Earth, and they'll have plenty of damage to chop him down. He's getting anviled. Nice grave from SYVD, but can they finish him off? Lesh trying to dive it. He gets hit by the Remnant. There's your first blood
Worth
coming
it.
out. 1-for-1 trade, but it's a support Lesh for the mid hero of Revenge. As Merlini said, I think it was worth it.
I don't know, though. Elder Titan, oh, actually, he has his bottle, so he's all good. In this.
Yeah, aight. Come on now. And he's got 2 pulled tangos. He's golden. And they've got a Shagbark.
That was nice from Dazzle, though. If Dazzle weren't there, that kill would have been so flippin' easy. And Dazzle's almost level 3 now.
It wouldn't have been a 1-for-1. Yeah, the Storm died first, so he got solo XP for that kill on Lesh. Pretty nice for the Dazzle. Now, on the Dire side, we've got the Sneaky Nyx Assassins. Old Whitebeard here. He's on the Shadow Demon. He'll be joining Ush on the Tiny in the bottom lane. In the mid, it is SNA on the Elder Titan. They'll have Lesh being played by Fluff and Stuff right now in the jungle, just stacking and pulling after that successful gank in the mid. And they've got IX Mike. He's playing on the Clockwork here in the solo safe lane role. And he seems to be doing all right for himself. 3-0 in last hits, and he is just about to hit level 3.
Stan mid getting harassed fairly heavily by Dazzle. Dazzle looking good at level 3, buddy. But Fluff and Stuff will just pull a little bit, try and close this experience gap. How is IX Mike doing on top? Looks like his CS is 6-0. Pretty
Golden.
comparable.
Yeah, he's Golden Richards.
So let's see. Both support checking the runes at 2 minutes. Where's it going to spawn?
Oh, it's bottom. It's a haste rune. Whitebeard, he'll camp it out. And he may rotate towards mid once again. Lesh not in position to set up with a split earth, and now he'll just head down bottom.
They can potentially kill Mihawk, though. Mihawk does have level 1 Surge at this point. He is level 3. Ush has 234 mana, so not enough mana for the combo, but they still could kill him.
It's really close, though. It'll just be a small gap in between. And if they can get him low, maybe they can still set this up. He has to connect with the Avalanche, though. Oh, the Soul Catcher on the creep.
That's so unfortunate.
That's really unfortunate. That hurts. Now Dazzle comes in. That'll keep Mihawk alive. Whitebeard. Every time I see that guy, I want to call him Treebeard. Isn't that the guy from Lord of the Rings, the big tree?
Probably.
I think so, but it's Whitebeard. And then that makes me think of Gandalf, and then I think Keeper of the Light, and I just get confused.
One of the reasons I don't like Lesh as a support is he's just so weak without his partner. Like, Potom, you can still hit arrows without a Shadow Demon, but Leshrac, it's extremely hard to hit a stun, especially during daytime. So we see Fluff and stuff trying to do some stuff on top, but I mean, Clockwork Leshrac, you're not really too scared of this lane.
No, Ewo, he gets caught inside of cogs, but he can just leap out right like that. Most heroes, well, if they get stuck in the cogs, makes for pretty easy split earths, and things can get pretty messy pretty quick. But Moran is well suited for it in green. He's positioned himself. Cogs, that's nice. The mythical power.
They
cogs.
be these.
Yeah, I like them. They cool. SNA is doing pretty well in the mid lane, sort of. 9-0 versus the 22-3 Storm Spirit. So he hasn't died yet. He is getting a baseline of farm, but Blank Man here has been zoning him out pretty effectively.
The Grave really hurt him in mid a lot because they had to commit a lot more resources. He only had Sheer Tango, so he was at like 200 HP with one Tango already down, and then Dazzle came and harassed him too, so he wasn't able to bottle Crow effectively, and because of that, the harass from Mr. Storm Spirit has just been very, very heavy, and he doesn't have a Stout Shield. That never helps.
Yeah, and he's going the 1-1-3 build on Storm at level 5, so going that overload harass, and it's just pretty darn potent. SNA doesn't have much to deal with it. Lesh rotating towards the mid lane, Fluff and stuff, pump faking a little bit, trying to scare back the Bracket Man, but, well, they'll just cancel cast. Holds the mid lane, while, yeah, SNA grabs a regeneration in the bottle, so that's good news. They've gotten 2 out of 3 runes so far. And actually, no, they got the first one as well. Shadow Demon had the invisibility, so that's good news. Up top, Telekinesis, but Ewo not on the money with that arrow. A lot of creeps nearby. Not sure what his plan was with that one. Meanwhile, now by the bottom rune, it'll be a 3-on-1. Toss forward from the Tiny. Whitebeard throws out the Disruption. Dazzle gets the Grave off before he goes down, but to what avail? No support inbound. It'll just buy him a few seconds to eventually fall to the wrath of the craggy Tiny.
So we see another Tiny going for the Treads build, even though he doesn't have the Wisp along with him. I personally think the Treads build is a lot better because it gives him a lot more damage, but some people do opt for the Phase Drums build because they often get kited, especially like heroes like Storm and Mirana with Leap and Surge and Dazzle's Poison touching you. You're going to have a hard time moving around in team fights, so we'll see if Tiny goes for any mobility item or whether or not he will just rely on the Suns from his teammates. Mike getting a nice double cog.
Yeah.
The double cog, man. So much mana was burned.
Much mana, many cogs, much mana was burned.
Much mana was burned.
He's got himself an Urn of Shadows now and just about to hit level 6. So that's really what it's about for Clockwork. Farm is great, 19-3 is fabulous, but getting that level 6 in a timely manner is what it's really all about.
Bracket Man is not having it easy in mid now.
Yeah, he's
off the back of that regen.
Living life on the edge. Fluff and stuff is inbound. Dazzle's here as well. They set up a stun on the Dazzle. Maybe they could bring him down, but nope, it'll be off the mark. Elder Titan almost level 6. If they connect with an Earth Splitter or a split Earth and then into an Earth Splitter, that's confusing.
They need to change those names.
Yeah, that's too much. But if they connect with both of those, maybe they could set up a kill. But still not particularly.
I don't think he's gonna get Earth Splitter though.
Yeah, he may skip it actually. That's true. Usually that 0440 build is what's common. 6-minute rune will go the way of sneaky Nyx assassins once again. Look at these guys with the rune control Merlini. They've gotten every single one. That's 100%. That's an absolute.
That is an absolute. I'm still going to call you out every time you say
shout out to yesterday.
That is not right.
Getting rocked by Merlini. Just do not ever say absolutes in my presence or I will shut you down. I will take you to Chinatown. You
Pretty much.
I saw that part in the rebroadcast yesterday and chat went ham once again. It's good stuff though.
You deserve it.
I deserve it. Yeah, it's true. I deserve this.
So Whitebeard going for the 1-2-1 build, and Max Shadow Poison just does a lot more deeps and generally better. Just because we saw him use Soul Catcher earlier, except it hit a creep. Like, you don't have to worry about Shadow Poison hitting creeps. If it hits creeps, it hits heroes usually.
Yep.
But whatevs.
Yeah, the 1-1-3.
In mid lane. Uh-oh.
Oh, SNA. He'll get Electric Vortex. There's your Telekinesis. More than enough damage to bring him down. IX Mike TP's in, but he'll get there a little bit late. Throws down the nipples. But, yep. Doesn't really do much with it after that. So, good kill for Revenge. They get another one on the board. And Storm Spirit, man, he is just dominating now. 47-7 compared to the 20-1 Elder Titan. He's number 1 on net worth, and he will be running amok. We mentioned how little crowd controls the sneaky Nyx Assassins have. And, well, Storm with that kind of momentum and few lockdowns is usually scary.
Elder Titan, even with all those runes, just can't really do anything in lane. Doesn't have that much lane control. And, yeah, he can spam his good old Spirit, but Bottle Crow, Dazzle Heals can easily put him right back up, and just Storm has a lot more kill potential than Elder Titan, which is why Elder Titan's like a measly 3 on the competitive scale for, at least in my book.
Yeah, this is part of his problem. He's tanky, but he doesn't have an escape mechanism. He doesn't really put out a lot of damage, and we'll see. Maybe he'll prove us wrong. Maybe 10, 15 minutes from now, all of that solo XP and experience will... Or
100% gone down the drain.
Oh,
Storm Spirit with a haste.
The absolutes are gone. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Mihawk, he's in trouble. Toss, Avalanche combo from the Tiny. Hookshot from IX Mike. They don't have the damage. The Shadow Poison is on him. Will it be enough to bring him down, though? Whitebeard, he gets dropped, and the Shadow Poison will not secure the kill. It's a 1-0 the other way, and Revenge grabbing more momentum. It is Storm Spirit who grabs the last hit on that kill with a haste rune.
Don't particularly like the earn first on Clockwork because it doesn't actually give you mana. It gives you mana regen, but if he has mana for Battle Resolve, if he has mana for Cogs, that Darkseer is dead. So just even Casual Bracer, Robe with a Magi, for Treads or Blade Mail, Bottle, Arcane Boots, Headdress even would give him just the amount of mana that he needs to actually get kills. And Earn is pretty useless if you can't get kills.
You need those charges. So it's a problem. That was a very unfortunate turnaround for SNA. Now about a 1,500 gold, almost a 1,500 experience lead for Revenge already in this game. Only 9 minutes in, only 5 kills on the board though.
Ewo, Arrow.
Oh, that was a close one. Almost hit SNA right in the noggin.
I don't know if Storm Spirit can kill that though. He doesn't have that much mana.
Yeah, maybe not.
Oh, smoke from Whitebeard and Fluff, and I think these two supports have to hook up a lot more. We saw Whitebeard going for solo kill on bottom. That's not happening. We saw Fluff trying to stun people out in mid. That's not happening. These two heroes, that's why you draft them. For the stun, for the disrupt and the stun, with the mass deeps with Soul Catcher.
For the setup.
But they haven't been able to do that except for First Blood, and I think that's why they're so far behind. They're not so far behind, they're just behind.
Yeah, well, the Shadow Demon is rather poor. He's also the lowest level in the game at a humble 4 right now. Their smoke will be wasted. They won't find anyone to initiate upon. They will rotate towards the mid lane, and it will be a 3-on-2. SNA, he'll be the one to get hopped on first. Storm spends most of his mana getting aggressive here. He'll dive into the tower, does have the damage to bring down the Elder Titan. Can they get the return kill, though? The Edict doing a lot of damage. Dazzle throws out the Grave. That keeps him alive for now, but there's your aggressive disruption, and they will secure this kill. IX Mike gets picked off in a side lane, but now Mihawk joining the party in the mid. Whitebeard will get chased down, and he will fall. That is a 2-for-3 exchange across the map, going the way of Revenge. Looks like up top, Clockwork finished off the Rubik, and then Mirana got a counter kill onto the Clockwork.
And unfortunately for SNA, the player, not the hero, or the team, he's died twice and just super poor in mid. He had a really early bottle after the first boots.
Mirana gets trucked in the top lane. Ush just combos him down. Ush doesn't even combo him. Just throws an avalanche, casual toss, and then just rocks him right in the face.
Right in the face.
Right in the face, dude. Punched him.
I like Tiny.
I like Tiny too.
So going the Treads Drums build, I like this. I think Drums is really important on Tiny without a Wisp.
He needs the movement speed early on and just
they're stacking.
The
Is he going to get it off? Nope.
Noble.
I got excited.
Yeah, you really did. Thought I was missing something important. So, let's see here. Glancing at the graph again. Revenge holding on to their lead, but SNA, they're making a dent. They're stacking up not the Ancients, but their other neutrals. Who has the late game advantage here? Mirana and Storm Spirit, two heroes that scale reasonably well. Mirana's picked up a lot of farm. She has phase boots and working towards the drums. And Storm Spirit we've talked about quite a bit. Speak of the devil, hook shot in. Beautiful cogs from IX Mike. That'll burn some of his mana, but they can't secure the kill. They burn the dust. The Electron earn charge enough to take him down.
And the Spirit.
As the Spirit hops on top of him.
And the toss.
So they do get the kill after all. They have to burn a dust as the Moonlight Shadow flew.
That was a
Well
lot of
worth it.
spells for a Storm Spirit. In a team fight, they're actually not going to be able to throw that much of the Storm Spirit. So
Yeah.
you asked about late game, and I think Revenge has a slight edge just because Storm can get out of control. He doesn't actually need a BKB this game. He might get one anyways. We see Rubik and Leshrac, or sorry, Rubik, Dazzle, and Darkseer smoked up. Their smoke pops. They know that IX Mike's there. And is the jig up? Apparently not.
Ewo! He gets tossed. He will burn a salve as he plays a little ring around the rosy. Now Ush, he's in a sticky wicket. Green comes in. There's your telekinesis. Arrow to follow up. They'll have plenty of follow-up damage. Starstorm, level 2 poison from the Dazzle. Mihawk with a vacuum. And actually, will they have plenty of damage? This rock is damn tanky. And of course, multiple fights are breaking out here. We'll miss another kill in the mid lane as Storm Spirit finishes off Whitebeard. Earth Splitter off the money. And it looks like that's where things will settle down. SNA taking a 2-for-0 exchange around the map once again.
So close. If Tiny got that kill on Mirana, it would have been worth it 1-for-1, carry for carry. But as it stands, I don't know. I think that IX Mike has been a little inactive on the clockwork this game, or in terms of actually getting kills. He's had some attempted kills, but he needs to be there. He needs to set up kills. Easy kills, too. They can kill Darkseer. They can kill Rubik. They can kill Dazzle. They can kill almost anyone but the Mirana and Storm Spirit with relative ease. And they just haven't been able to find it.
Yeah, they have a lot of squishy heroes, and Tiny is still within this window of time where he can just combo down a lot of these heroes. He almost just soloed Mirana with the combo and needed one more punch. So a little bit of follow-up damage, poor placement, and Tiny can really put out a lot of AoE damage. We'll see. Maybe a pipe will come out for Revenge eventually. They do have a mech on the Darkseer already, which will help them in these early skirmishes if they continue to fight. Looks like IX Mike will now move into a mech of his own, has the headdress, and we'll just be farming away. So still not very close to it, but a good hero to carry that core item. Elder Titan, what's he grabbing? Phase Boots, Bracer right now, and still just does not have much farm to his name.
And he doesn't do anything. So Rubik will steal a toss. You know, I always think that's Avalanche when I steal it.
Me
'cause
too.
it's
I
a
just looked
freaking
at it.
rock.
Yeah. I guess Toss is a rock ability as well, but I mean, to be fair, all of Tiny's icons are rock-like, but
Well, the fourth one you can tell is definitely just Tiny,
just
getting
grow.
bigger.
Yeah, Tiny.
He has a smiley face. He's like, man, I'm getting big, yo.
Yeah, I know. I just realized that Tiny, he's a happy golem. He's smiling, unlike his buddies.
I know.
the
Even though,
the
if you look at his
granite golems.
portrait, his left eye is like kind of knocked in though, so he might not be so happy with that black eye.
Actually, that's true. But that's because he's a fighter, Merlini. He's
a fighter.
It's a battle wound. You know, what do they say in Game of Thrones? Scars make kings look better. There's some really cool quote about scars and kings.
You did
Tiny's
not
a
make it
king.
sound cool.
I know. I'm bad at quoting Game of Thrones. I really like it, though. Uh-oh. SNA, he gets telekinesis. Zip forward from Blank Spaceman. They'll have plenty of damage. Split Earth will be off the money. And Green, what's he going to steal? That's a Split Earth?
That's really bad for SNA. Because,
Ooh, Ush misses the Avalanche. Hasted Storm Spirit. Now he'll try and chase him down. Zips forward. Doesn't have a huge mana pool to play around with here, but we'll have enough to continue chasing him down. There's the Electric Vortex, but the Split Earth connects this time. Toss into all the damage. They've got more than enough. Lesh gets credit for that one, but SNA, they finally turn it around and get a much-needed kill on that Storm Spirit.
that level 4 Soul Catcher doing work. I would have preferred a stable hero like Lion or Rasa instead of Leshrac, just because Leshrac, yeah, he's 3-1, but he's been unable to save Elder Titan so many times in mid just because of the unreliability of that stun versus a hero like Storm Spirit.
Yeah, or I think Lion's a great example. If you don't hit the Impale, at least you've got a Hex to buy your buddy some time.
And, I mean, like, Rasta would have been really good for them since they're dire. A lot of physical damage to synergize with Elder Titan, but Leshrac, they've only taken out one tower. I think that's why you would pick Leshrac over other supports with ranged AoE stuns, is because of the huge edict and taking out towers. But if you can't take out towers, there are other better choices.
Yeah, I mean, they should have knocked some more towers down by now, I think. But the nice thing about Edict is you can use it at any point in the game. It still trucks towers, even in the mid-game, even into the late game. It still does a lot of damage to structures when there aren't creeps around. Tiny will now hit level 11, gets that second point in Grow, so he's a little bit bigger, a little more scary, and now has a point booster. So well on his way to the Egg Scepter, very standard Tiny build. And his farm is pretty good. He's number 1 on net worth, just barely ahead of the Storm Spirit, but ahead nonetheless. They've really done a good job putting pressure on this Storm. He started off so well, now 3, 4, and 4. He has both of the Oblivion Staves, but not really that close to the Orchid. Staves, yes.
It's going to be difficult for Shadow Demon because he's always going to get Orchid in fights.
Yep. It will be tricky.
Nice
And
D-ward by Fluff and stuff, but
little
still they
ward
can't
action.
push.
Yep. It's tricky. This Elder Titan, he's 1, 3, and 2. It feels like he's been picked off a few more times than that. The bottom tower falls. They don't get the deny. That's unfortunate. Looks like he will just grab drums here. A lot of drums this game.
Drums is good.
Yeah. 2 on the Dire side and 1 on the Radiant.
Every game that I don't see drums, I'm like, huh? What?
That's how I feel about mech. Clockwork has his mech. Well, still not really that close to it. Just needs the recipe now, though.
He doesn't have the mana pool
Very
for
little
it.
in
He can, hookshot mech and he's out of mana.
That's true. He's going to have to get Arcane Boots, I think.
I like Casual Bottle, personally,
That's pretty good, too.
on clock. Yeah. But now Storm Spirit with the Orchid can find...
Oh, did he?
He
He
can
might
pretty
have
much
had
go
that
anyone.
recipe on the courier, and I just missed it because or else he just farmed.
I think
for
he just
800 gold
farmed it.
pretty quick. Okay.
But Tiny on top. He's out alone. May go on Mihawk.
Oh, they're smoked up. They're gonna come for him here. I think Ush might be okay. Blink Dagger just now picked up on the Darkseer. This will create a little bit of space for them in the mid lane to pressure the tower, but they don't go for it. They see a lot of heroes missing off the map, and they get a little nervous. They rotate up top to try and support the Tiny. Nice map awareness from SNA, recognizing that the team is missing and they may be looking to gank Tiny. There's your zip forward, and a nice stun. Orchid comes out onto the Tiny straight away. There's your telekinesis, and pardon me, not telekinesis, electric vortex. Earth Splitter comes in, does a bit of damage. They have enough to finish off the Dazzle. They will secure the kill onto the Darkseer as well. The Cogs completely trap him in. It's a 2-for-0 going the way of SNA, and they'll continue to pursue. Moonlight Shadow comes out from Revenge. Toss forward. They get the kill on Rubik, and
Toss back.
hot potato.
That was just really great awareness from SNA. Just being there for the counter initiate.
Yeah.
As soon as Storm Spirit zipped in, his team was immediately zoned out by the Clockwork, and he attempted for the Echo Stomp on the Storm Spirit too. So Storm Spirit wasn't able to get enough deeps on the Tiny because he has 1750 HP. Storm Spirit also got immediately craggy when he went for his first attack on Tiny, so that kind of sucks for him. But everyone else was caught in the Cogs and Earth Splitter into the Split Earth combo, and that was just wrecked those people, man.
Lots of damage. And they also secured the kill on the Dazzle. He didn't get to use the shallow grave there, so he was a really good target. He was the one that took huge damage from the Earth Splitter and basically secured that kill. So good hero to pick off first. It made the kill on the Darkseer after that very easy. He was stuck in the Cogs. Sure, he surged himself, but nowhere to run, little buddy.
Easy peasy.
The hot potato was funny, though. Rubik got stuck with it, and it exploded in his face, but it was still humorous. It was like the end of Django Unchanged when Quentin Tarantino blows up. Spoiler alert.
It's like Uther Party, where you play hot potatoes with mortars.
Yeah! And then Uther gets blown up. That was a better reference. Well done. Warcraft 3.
I'm trying to keep it PG-13 without spoiler alerts, dude. Or PG.
Good work, good work.
Mortal Kombat. That's probably one of my favorite lines from Warcraft 3.
I forgot about that.
Well, good old Mihawk on top lane. He does have a Blink Dagger, but...
Oh,
buddy.
Mike gets tossed in. Nipple Cogs come out.
Who needs
and
hookshot?
Yeah, there's your Split Earth, Avalanche. Plenty of rocks coming their way this game.
That was nice, though, because if they had tried to go about it a different way, like, for example, us trying to run up to them, then he can just blink out. But, I mean, they could have gone for a hookshot, too, so this was a little bit fancy footwork. Mid lane, tower getting pressured. There is a glyph up. They need to use it very, very soon if they want to keep it alive.
Might try to hold. Demonic Purge comes out on green. And Echo Stomp will connect with 2. They might have the damage to finish off Rubik here. The toss forward, the Grave just in the nick of time. Disruption comes out a little bit late. Ruby Tuesday will still fall. The Split Earth off the mark as well. Rubik finally goes down, but now Storm Spirit's joining the party. He finishes off the Shadow Demon, gets the tower, and then just zips away. Moonlight Shadow, oh, wow. Looking for the toss to interrupt it, but just can't find it. Elder Titan's big body was inbound and made Tiny's life a little more difficult. Ends up being a 1-for-1 support for support exchange, but Revenge, they get the tower kill out of it.
Yeah, Rubik, nice plays. He, like, when he was great and he knew he was going to die, he just went up there and right-clicked the tower to get that little bit of damage. I mean, if Storm had stayed around for one more hit, he probably would have died. So that was actually pretty darn important.
Yeah. Nice heads-up play from the enigma known as Bracket Space Bracket here, as he zipped forward, finished off the tower, then just zipped back
He's a
to
legit
safety.
Storm player.
He's good. I wish I knew what his name was so I could give him proper credit. But who knows? He's going to go BKB next, though. He's got the Ogre Club up already. And whoa, there's your Ags on Tiny. So he's going to uproot the giant tree, the Whomping Willow, if
Have
you
you ever
will.
seen a Tiny without Grog pick up Ags?
I have not, actually. What happened?
It's really funny.
Does the world implode?
He's really small, and he's like carrying this big tree. He's like hugging the tree because it's so big, and it just looks ridiculous because the tree's like five times as big.
Does the graphic actually change with the way he carries it because he's so little?
I think so. I'm not positive. From what I recall, it looks like he's like hugging it and holding it with both arms because it's so big.
Speaking of tiny, he gets hit by an arrow. SNA using the Echo Stomp will be off the mark, but the Spirit tracking them down. He's stolen a little bit of damage here. Courier comes in, and oh wow, that's your Maelstrom on Ewo. So they'll have a little bit
of
just
a pot
extra damage. Hey man, those Chain Lightnings, they'll start to add up. Pew 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 pew.
You still can't compare with her damage output as opposed to the Tiny's.
Yeah, but Tiny with the big branch. I just love that he has a really cool Ags.
His Ags upgrade is like
it's awesome.
It is probably one of the best.
I think it's the most core for sure. I think it's the only one where if you I can't think of any other hero where if they don't get Ags you would say what an idiot.
Clockwork?
Clockwork. You still see Clockwork games where he doesn't get Ags occasionally.
Yeah, and you can't say that he's an idiot.
It's still a really good item on Clockwork, no doubt, but it's not core the same way Tiny's is.
If we ever saw a Tiny get Battle Fury, that'd be so funny. Over an Ags.
Battle Fury instead of Ags, yeah, that would be some new meta shit right there.
Dude,
I don't know.
That Ags upgrade is ridiculous good. I would actually probably say that's a 10 out of 10. That is God tier Ags upgrade.
It's Kale tier, dude. Come on now. It's the inverse puck upgrade.
Increases attack range, damage versus buildings, granting a cleave attack, improves toss unit damage. Like, what in the world? 50% cleave damage.
Yeah.
Bonus building damage 75%.
It's absurdly good. IX Mike, he bumps into Ewo, but Moonlight Shadow is on for another 10 seconds or so. It will expire. They don't have detection on them right now. Okay, just throwing down cogs for good measure. They do have dust on 3 heroes, so if they had burned to dust there, they might have been able to grab a kill on the Mirana. But they don't go for it, and Nyx Assassins will just back up. So the sneaky Nyx Assassins, it was looking a little bit rough for them. Revenge holding on to still a 5,000 gold, 2,000 experience lead, but Tiny holding on to that #1 slot of net worth, and he's just farming away already up to another 1,600 gold.
The big loser here is good old Shadow Demon. He's half of Rubik's net worth, and Rubik's next to last.
Yes.
So other than that, I don't think is that bad. Elder Titan falling quite a bit behind compared to the Storm Spirit, but Storm Spirit could have been a lot more out of control. Looks like he will be going for a BKB, and they don't really have that much versus BKB. I guess you can right-click with Elder Titan and Tiny.
Yeah, Tiny's right-click does do some work through it, but I still wouldn't want to go late game against Tiny here. He is the hardest carry in this game by far. Revenge.
They can wall it.
Yeah, well, they have... Yeah, that's true. They have Darkseer. They have plenty of late game themselves. Not traditional carries, but Storm Spirit scales very well with items. Mirana, we've seen in the position 1, can carry quite hard if farm allows. And Darkseer, yeah, he got the right idea here. Level 11, 2 points in Wall of Replica. He's not mucking around. He wants that extra 150 damage. And they are ready for it. But Tiny, he's already picked up the Hyperstone. That ups his DPS so much, and they will just go straight for this Tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Look how quickly it falls. Tiny stutter step in there.
I don't know if they can push this T2, though. It's really risky, especially with Darkseer with a Blink Dagger. If he gets even a 2-man vacuum wall, I say they lose the fight. Because Whitebeard will likely get jumped on. They'll jump on Ush with the Vortex, and then they'll use the Orchid on the Shadow Demon. And after that, they can't really save Ush, and without Ush, they don't have any damage. And you can initiate with Moonlight Shadow too. There's going to be wall beating on you. It's just not a good combination. They should not be pushing that tower. They should be eyeing for Roshan. They should be stacking the Ancients. Maybe even getting a BKB on Tiny if he feels like he needs it.
Hook shot onto Ewo, but what a leap from the Mirana. Hops just in the nick of time as the Avalanche comes in, and he survives. I think the sneaky Nyx Assassins can move into Roche pretty quickly here, though. They have enough damage to take him down in a pretty timely manner. There's no vision around the Roche pit for either side right now.
Yeah, they're going to be low, though, if they do it, which is the problem. Because if Darkseer comes, Vacuum Walls, they lose the fight. So they always have to be on the lookout for Vacuum Wall. It's better for them to be defending, better for them to be just ganking 1 or 2 people instead of actually fiving straight 5-on-5s on the opponent's side of the river.
Yeah, and maybe now isn't the exact right time for Roche, but as long as they have eyes on the Radiant and looking at the dire vision here, we see
they have really good vision.
They do, actually. They've got a ward down here. They've got all 4 of their wards down right now. Down in the bottom lane, 1 on the high ground right outside of the Roche pit they just put down, 1 in the mid lane, and then 1 right outside of the Radiant Ancients here. I can't draw on the map during a pause, but...
Noob.
She blows. So they did just have eyes on some of the Revenge heroes mid, but
does Storm have BKB yet?
Don't know if all 5 are grouped up.
So they can definitely win this Roshan fight. Revenge can take it if they know. Do they know? Who knows? They could be smoked into the jungle. You actually don't have a clue if you don't have a ward up in this area. And they could very well smoked into Roshan too, so you don't know.
So vision is lacking on
Shoot
both
an
sides
arrow,
right
though.
now in terms of who has eyes on who. Everyone on Dire is off the map right now, and they have eyes on no one on Radiant either. They know Darkseer's
They know
mid,
they're
but-
around that area.
Yeah,
though.
they know they're around mid, but don't know exactly where they're headed.
They're not terribly worried. I think they need a sentry in case they approach with Moonlight Shadow. If they don't have that, then they will get wiped.
Well, they do have Dust on 3 heroes, and they have sentries on Whitebeard. So Whitebeard is pretty well equipped here. He does have 2 sentries. I'm a little surprised they didn't sentry first, look to clear out wards, and then move into the pit. They did the opposite. They went into the pit first, put down a ward of their own, and now Whitebeard will probably opt to put a sentry down. Just in some central locations, more about right here. Give you a little vision of the high ground, and also just give you that access if, or that intel if they try to Moonlight Shadow forward.
Craggy, craggy, craggy.
Count your Craggy. I'm telling you, that's such a good name for one of those silly NA teams. That's just a mishmash of players. North American Rejects. Count your Craggy. It's a good one.
I think there's a lot better punny ones.
Punny ones. All right. Well, fine. It's on the list. I would.
It's on the list.
I'd put it on the list. Craggy.
Look at his face. Tiny looks so happy now.
He is. I know. Look at him. Well, what's he have to be sad about? He's got a branch. He's got all those points in Craggy. He's got a lot of armor. He's feeling good.
Shadow Demon
feeling
probably
great.
needs a mobility item, so he doesn't get caught out by Storm. I think that's probably the most important thing for their fights is that Tiny stays alive. If Tiny doesn't stay alive, they lose the fight. And it's mostly Shadow Demon's job and Clockwork's job, but Clockwork, he's going to be out of sight anyway, so Shadow Demon's really the one that he could possibly get it off, possibly not, and he really needs to be able to get a defensive disruption on Ush if they unload a ton of spells on him. Arrow, for example, Telekinesis, and most importantly, Storm, Grapple into just whatever.
I feel like Lesh has really big hands.
Dude, he's scary.
Like, just look at how long his arms are. They're like the complete size of his torso. He can scratch his knees without bending over.
You know, I liked Leshrac in Dota 1 because
Yeah,
he was like
he
he
had a
looked
cool model.
ethereal.
Yeah. I like the Keeper of the Grove model. Like the ethereal Keeper of the Grove was really cool.
Here they go. They don't have that much deeps though. A decent amount. Edict is very good, but it is only a level 3 Edict, not level 4. And
There's your sentry ward down.
can they smoke? They do have a smoke up on Rubik, but they have no idea where they're going.
Yeah, looking at this is the Radiant Vision right now. They just have no clue.
Oh, Podum's not there too. If Podum had a arrow to be over there.
Yeah, that's their scouting tool.
It is.
Roche is falling quickly now. They will wander their way over, still looking at the Radiant Vision. Storm zips up. He gets the vision with the Remnant. He sees it. They may try and snatch it. IX Mike actually throws out the hook shot to try and catch him. Will be off the mark. Puts down Cogs, though. Very smart play. If Storm zips in, could be a little difficult. There's Mihawk with the vacuum forward. Roshan has gone down to the Radiant. Aegis gets snatched by Tiny. And it looks like Darkseer will be the first to go down. Clockwork gets picked off shortly after. The Storm Spirit falls. Dazzle trying to TP home. He falls to the Lightning of Lesh. And
That
SNA, they
toss.
clean it up.
That toss. But still, they did get the last hit on Storm Spirit. Not worth his life, though. And if he got the Aegis, it would certainly been worth his life. But since he didn't,
Yeah, Radiant got the last hit on Roche. So they got the bonus goal, but they don't win the team fight. And they will defend this top tower. Tiny, he still has the Aegis as well. He didn't get picked off. They'll try and chase down Green, but I'm
Green
not
is
so
dead,
sure
dude.
how this is going to work out.
Green is dead.
Can they chase him? Oh, yeah, it gets in range for
They
the
popped the
Purge.
drums charge. That's
Oh,
why you get
yeah.
mass drums, bro.
Yeah, got to chase down those stray Rubiks. So it is a 4-for-1 across the map. Nicely done by the Dire side, and now Tiny. He finishes off the tier 2 in the mid.
That's his AC.
Ush is fat. He's a beefcake. It's one tubby rock.
I still don't know how they're going to deal with him because Storm Spirit can't just like run in there with BKB. We just saw how quickly he got obliterated with his BKB on. Granted, it was a 5-on-1, but still, you get the idea of how hard that Tiny is freaking hitting. And now with AC up, they need like a lot of weave stacks, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm scared about their survivability. And
Yeah.
Potom can't compete. Like, she just has Mjolnir and drums. It's
Yeah.
nice, but it's not enough.
Yeah, she'll grab a double damage rune here, but Tiny just carries so much harder. Not only does he carry harder, but he's also way more farmed. 13k on the net worth compared to the 10k of Mirana. So there's just an array of problems for Revenge, and I think eventually they will just get out carried until Tiny still has a long way before he gets 6-slotted here. So
I think
that's what's
Potom's
scary.
I think Potom is a nice first pick, and she can do well as a semi carry. But Ewo's only been involved in 3 kills, so if they want a carry that's been only involved in 3 kills in 30 minutes, Potom's not the hero for that.
Mm-hmm.
They can just pick who, like I don't know, even a hard farming lifesteal, I think would have been a lot better.
Any other hard carry. I mean, if you want a ranged hero, something like a Morphling can do just fine in terms of sitting back and farming rather than being more aggressive. Mirana does a lot of mid-game damage with all of that Star Storm and arrow damage.
And Moonlight Shadow has not proved to be particularly effective in the hands of Ewo.
Yeah, not this game. It's a really good ability, but they just haven't set up too many kills. They will try and set up a gank on the Storm Spirit up top, it looks like. But no easy way to close the gap, and he can just zip away. Maybe if Tiny had a Blink Dagger, they could hop on him and take him down, but Ush has not chosen to go that route. Clockwork has now picked up a 4-staff after the mech. He still has some mana issues here.
I would like to see that Orchid build that Bone 7 does sometimes.
Yeah.
It owns Darkseer. Very good versus Mirana, especially when she doesn't get Manta or BKB, and decent versus Storm once his BKB's down.
Now this top tier 2 tower will take some pretty hefty pressure. Tiny comes forward with the branch, tossing all over the place. He's about to just solo down this tower. Revenge are not in a position to contest. They don't have a glyph, and they'll just watch it fall. SNA, I don't think they'll try to break high ground here. No, one of them will port back. It will be Ush. Gets hit by an arrow from Ewo. 2 more ports coming in. Mirana will leap back to safety, and he should be just fine. Yep, pops the face
That's
boots.
the Crystallis.
Just cruises away.
Yikes.
Owie, that's big crits coming out here. He's just going raw deeps.
I like the Manta build personally.
Yeah, Manta Butterfly. I like it. I look at crit as a very late game, like last item slot kind of for Tiny.
Yeah, Manta just gives you a lot more uptime, I feel like.
And it's against an Orchid. I mean, Manta's just good against Orchid.
It is.
He was the Orchid target in the last 2 fights, I think. So Manta would have gone a long way.
Here they go with a smoke, though. I don't know. Fighting into the Aegis is not a terribly great idea unless you can kill all his teammates. The Aegis still has a good 2 minutes, so if they catch some heroes on the backline like they... Oh, Shadow Demon is gone.
Whitebeard, yeah, he gets Orchided straight away, gets dropped, but in comes the hook shot from Mike, burns a dust straight away. There's your BKB on Storm Spirit. Follow-up coming in from the Dire side. Earth Splitter flies, doesn't do a hell of a lot, but Storm Spirit, he just gets cleaved down by the Anvil. There's your big Earth Splitter coming out, and it procs the Aegis onto Tiny. Now SNA taking hefty damage, he gets picked off. Ush comes back to life, finishes off Dazzle now. It's not looking so good for SNA. A lot of buybacks coming for revenge. They want to finish down Tiny. Ush is forced to tuck that tail between his legs and head for the hills. Lesh gets picked off around the side by the Storm Spirit, but Tiny, he's just cleaning it up. He's cleaving all over the place. Ewo so close to falling. There's an avalanche in 1 second. That secures the kill. He will get Orchided now. Triple kill for Ush. He's just trying to survive, but Mihawk comes in. He'll have a toss rotation. Maybe he can finish off the Darkseer before he goes down. Ultra kill for the Tiny. How many buybacks were burned? Just 2 buybacks to the Radiant side. But even after that, it's a 4 for 3. So is that a 4 for 5?
4 for... Well, it can be a 5 for 5 because of...
the Aegis.
Well, Shadow Demon died and revived. So
okay.
It's 5 for 6.
Okay, so he didn't buy back, but he died and then came back. So, Jesus. 5 for 6. This is just... That was chaos. I'm not even sure who really came out ahead on that. That was just the theory of mutual destruction.
I would say that Revenge came out ahead because they weren't expected to trade evenly in that situation.
Even with the 2 buybacks?
I would say...
One of them was on Storm, one of them was on Dazzle.
I would say not. Things happened to that fight that actually went really poorly for SNA. Firstly, Earth Splitter was stolen, and then that actually killed Tiny for his first life. And it also hit the Elder Titan during his BKB. And secondly, Shadow Demon got picked off before the fight even started.
Yeah.
So that was the bigger deal, I feel like. He just needs to be with his team. He has a 4-staff, so he won't die in an Orchid. Hopefully.
Yeah, they will smoke up, but I think the Sneaky Nyx Assassin saw it with that ward. They will still jump on to IX Mike, though. They'll have plenty of damage to bring him down. They even tell him Kinesis outside of the cogs. Rubik steals him, gives him a taste of the own medicine, and it doesn't taste so good. Storm Spirit takes pretty heavy damage. Will be forced to pop the BKB. Grave keeps him alive. Now the rest of the fight breaking out. Fluff in the front lines. He's got a BKB of his own. Barely still alive, but he is. Secures the kill on the Darkseer. Moonlight Shadow comes out, and they are dusted up. Rubik, he'll get cornered. He still falls. SNA on the front lines trying to chase down SYVD as well as Ewo. And I think SNA may still be able to clean this up. Dazzle nowhere to go. He just gets cleaved down by the Tiny. Oh, man. That was a crit even.
Tiny is just so flippin' fat.
He's too big, both figuratively and literally. 18,000 on the net worth. Next highest is 13K on the Storm Spirit.
The problem is they can't really stop this T2 tower from falling down. They can't really stop Roshan. They can't stop Tiny from getting any bigger. Yes, he died, but he got an ultra kill in response. So in terms of net worth for Ush after the fight, it's going up massively. As opposed to the Storm Spirit who died, he bought back, he got a couple of kills, and then he didn't really get any kills on the second time. He just had a BKB run away and get graved. So his net worth probably stagnated for the past 5 minutes, whereas Ush's is just getting Just ridiculous.
And there's his data list. So you thought he was hitting hard before. He's critting bigger, hitting harder, and they will finish off that tier 2 tower in the bottom. So he's already got another 600 gold to his name. A lot of BKBs out in this game. Actually, no, only 3. I thought it was a little more. But SNA now level 16. He has 1,600 gold following his BKB pickup. Shadow Demons finally found some recovery after that 4 staff with 1,400 gold. And oh, wow, we'll see initiation onto the Storm. Well, can they bring him down, though? I'm not so sure he can. Touche, he hops back. Now your telekinesis comes out. Hook shot in from IX
Mike.
Whoa,
Big
with the
plays.
plays from downtown. Now they'll go on the green. Rubik will force staff to the high ground, and he'll get away for now. Disruption in the mid does force the Avalanche to be off the money. Ewo leaps back to safety, and he'll be okay for now. Looks like it will just be a 1-for-1 clockwork for Storm Spirit. Good exchange for SNA, though.
At the same time, Storm does get rid of his super long death cooldown timer, so not the worst trade for him because it's not actually when Roshan spawns, or is it? We shall see in about 5 seconds.
Yep, we sure will. Maybe SNA will luck out and get a very short Roche timer. Nope, it's a long one. 2.5 minutes. So, not the end of the world. They can sit back and keep farming, but won't give them easy access to that Roche pit while Storm Spirit's dead. Invisibility rune on Ush. They're going to go hunting.
Do they have any eyes anywhere? They do on SNA, but they didn't actually see Ush run around with the Invis rune. So, Revenge Green. Oh, no. Damn.
That was a 950 crit on top of that as well.
Oh, buddy. Talk about overkill.
Wow.
And that's AoE. That's the crazy part.
Yep. Even the attack is AoE because he has the cleat. It's insanity. Really is. If you've ever questioned the power of Tiny to hard carry, well,
it's real.
Watch this game because he is carrying right now. Tiny is putting the Nyx assassins on his back.
Dude, he looks different again.
The hill.
Click on Tiny. He has a 3rd portrait. How many portraits does this dude have?
A lot. He grows by the level, so you've got to have a portrait for each one. Now he's
old and grizzled,
grayer and beardier. Yeah, he's getting older as the game goes on. That would be kind of cool actually if all of the portraits evolved as the game went on. Then that 90-minute game, everyone looks like Darkseer, decrepit and old with a big beard. Roleplay mode, dude.
Keeper of the Light.
Yeah, everyone looks like Keeper of the Light and Darkseer. That'd be pretty cool.
So Ush pushing down by his lonesome. Everyone else smoked up, looking for someone to kill. And Revenge, they've just been walking around for a long time, not really doing anything. They've been defending against the pushes, but Potom, still number 3 in terms of net worth. Not very good compared to Tiny's. And Storm, yeah, he's been getting kills here and there, but again, he keeps dying 8, 7, and 9.
Yeah, and even the Marana, 3, 2, and 6, hasn't died much, but his item progression just isn't there. Has a Mithril Hammer, probably a BKB coming out next, but could also just go raw damage.
BKB's not going to do jack versus Tiny.
Yeah. Well, it'll keep him alive, sort of, against the Avalanche, but still get branched down with that Daedalus Assault Kuros.
So it's not just hanging around the Roshan pit knowing that they have very good map control. They can take a fight in there unless Darkseer gets a huge vacuum wall, especially if he vacuums them up to the high ground. So we'll see if Mihawk can make the big plays. He does have a Blinking Force, so he can definitely get in position for that.
The other thing about Tiny as a hard carry that makes him scary is if the sneaky Nyx assassins win one fight outside of the base, Tiny just trucks structures. I mean, they can push so quickly. So it really is just one bad team fight, and then you've got a Tiny destroying your base. Marana will take heed to your advice, goes straight for the Desolator, damage that Revenge much need right now, and I think it's the right choice. More very glass cannony from Marana, but at some point someone's got to do the damage.
Yeah, Tiny has 26 armor, though.
Yeah, that'll make a dent, but not very much. Roche is now respawned. They'll go straight into the pit. This is second Roche, and wow, look how quickly he falls. He may have gotten a +1 armor buff, but that doesn't save you from the power of the branch.
Now he's going to have a Manta style, too. Let's see if he gets his last hit. If he gets his last hit, I think he has it.
And
no?
Yep.
Yeah.
He got the last hit, and just about to have the Manta. They will trade their top tier 2 tower for second Roche.
He's slaying his brethren.
Well,
no.
much worth it. Oh, God. It's rock on rock. Now I understand why those granite golems are so sad. They can never win against Tiny. Tiny's like the star child. You know, and they're just like the reject cousins that nobody cares about.
He gets slain for money.
Yeah.
So Tiny kind of out by his lonesome, but they're going to have to commit a lot of resources if they even want to kill him once in a 5-on-1 situation. So in a 5-on-5...
Oh, up top, SNA. He gets initiated on the zip forward. Hookshot in from IX Mike, though. Buys him some time. Disruption now on the Storm Spirit. Maybe they can set up a kill. He pops his BKB. They'll go in on him, but he's forced to zip out. Looking to TP home. He will make it. Rubik moves into the trees, looking to TP home as well. He won't be so lucky. Split Earth from Fluff is on the money. The Proton Urn charges come out. He survives and TP's home. 2-0 up in the top lane. Or probably 1-0 up in the top lane going the way of SNA.
And Ush isn't even there. Well, let's see if Slayer G-Man can get a kill on this on bottom. Probably not. You can't touch Tiny, dude.
Yeah, I don't think he has the skills to pay the bills, as they say. Darkseer with 3,000 gold, though. I wonder what he's picking up next.
He should get a Scepter, I feel like. Or Refresher. Scepter and Refresher.
Scepter would actually be pretty good here. Up that replica damage and...
Yeah, because everything scales on Tiny. You get the aura from AC, you get the stats from the Mantle, you get the crit from the Daedalus, and you get the Ags upgrade, so...
Yeah.
That would be ownage.
140% damage on top of all that Tiny... Yeah. I agree. Ag Scepter, that's where it's at.
I don't think you get Craggy, though, which is a little unfortunate.
All the other stuff makes up for it. Even the Assault Karas alone is pretty big. They do not have
Okay, look at Tiny's just beating on this tower. They have to respond soon, or
It's
else
at
it's going to
half
fall. Okay, it's dead.
It's just about dead. They've got a glyph, but they'll telekinesis the Tiny. Won't save their tower. And now Tiny, remember, he has Aegis. Even if they bring him down, they'll have to do it twice. Earth Splitter flies. Maybe enough to finish off the Rubik. No, only catches Mihawk. Tickles him a little. Now they'll go into the Storm Spirit. He pops his BKP, but he just gets crit. He can't handle the heat. The wall comes out. Now Tiny, he'll feel the wrath of his own cleaves. He's very low. Does finish off the Darkseer. They manage to proc the Aegis. Steps in the right direction, but already two have fallen. They get the kill on Elder Titan. Now Whitebeard getting repelled. Tiny comes back to life. Gets telekinesis straight away. The Shadow Demon replica chipping away at him. He pops the Manta, and oh Jesus. Is that us or is that the server? Server's back, and Tiny, all right, looks like he got disrupted, throwing out some stuns. Ranged racks have already fallen. Melee racks go down, and yeah, this is looking rough for Revenge. I just don't think they can hold here, Merlini.
Nope. They killed Tiny once, though, which is big.
Yeah, big-ish. They finish off the Elder Titan.
If someone had a buyback, it would have been a lot different. He actually bought a Sheepstick right before, and I think that cost him the racks. Although, I mean, Sheepstick's a nice item, and it's great, and they need it, but they also needed 2 lives.
They just don't have a good front liner. Storm was basically their front liner in that fight,
got
and
whomped.
he just, whomped is a good word for it. The Whomping Willow just gave it to him. And it was a nice wall of replica from the Darkseer, but he's their only melee hero, and he's really not so tanky. Brown Boots, Ghost Scepter,
They have to
Staff.
initiate with the Blink
nothing.
Vacuum Wall, because Tiny doesn't have a BKB. And actually, no one has a BKB except for Elder Titan, who isn't really that important, and Leshrac, who doesn't do that much damage either relative to the Tiny. So if he just gets a Blink Vacuum Wall on Tiny +1, that's a very good way to start off the fight. And SNA, they're either forced to sit back and wait for 45 seconds until the wall is down, or fight in the wall and potentially risk Tiny cleaving their own teammates.
Yeah. Now, Tiny will go into a more sustainable build, grabs himself the Helm of the Dominator. So
Mirana
he has
hits hard.
lifesteal. He'll walk right into the Mirana. She gets stunned up. The Craggy coming to work. Ush taking heavy damage here. The Desolator shots laying into him. BKB on the Lesh in the front lines, doing as much damage as he can. The defensive disruption buys him some time, but Tiny still falls. Ewo may get picked off around the side. They'll finish off Whitebeard. Now they'll hop onto Fluff. Revenge, all of a sudden, with some momentum. They find a 1-for-3 exchange in the Dire jungle. Well, Rubik will fall, actually, just as Elder Titan finishes him off with the Astral Spirit, but still a 2-for-3, and they get that much-needed kill on Tiny. They end his dominating streak. Mirana, 666 gold, going her way.
Boom.
She does hit hard. That Desolator, cutting through those rocks.
Yeah, I do like the no BKB choice, because Tiny doesn't have a good BKB, and he's striking people, so, I mean, Mirana with BKB will just get obliterated, and they need some damage to take down the Tiny. Storm is there for utility more than damage, I say, at this point. He does a lot of damage in the mid-game, but late-game, when you can't just stand there and keep zipping at people and can't stand your ground even with a BKB, then he's not going to have that much uptime.
Yep. So steps in the right direction for Revenge, but still a long way to go before taking the game back from SNA. A decent 5,000 gold
This
experience
tower's taking a lot
lead.
of damage.
And, oh yeah, it sure is. That's a big wave. And
Well, I guess that's like 2 hits from Tiny, so what ifs.
yeah, but
If SNA gets one more Aegis on Tiny, I think that's very close to game. They also need to be very vigilant about defensively disrupting the Tiny. He did it, but it was a little bit too late. Looks like he will go for an HOD. HOD's alright. I still prefer Butterfly, but if he thinks he can Satanic back up, then why not? Problem is, they have 4 ranged heroes and a Darkseer with Ghost Scepter, Blink, and Force. So he's not going to have that much uptime, so that's why I don't think that Satanic's such a good idea. I would prefer just like a Heart even would be better, in my opinion.
yeah. And I was just going to say, selling, okay, he picks up his Boots of Travel. You see some carries go the like super slow, no boots build. I mean, is that possible on Tiny?
Not in this game. Some
Yeah.
games I think you can, especially if you have a lot of disables on your team, but they don't. They don't have enough disables. He is constantly getting kited in. He just needs to be able to whack Marana like twice, 3 times with a crit maybe, and be able to kill her, but he can't actually get to her in team fights. He hits really hard. He crit for 1,000, and then on top of that, you have the minus armor from AC and all this nonsense, so he can do the damage, he just keeps getting kited, so that's why you need move speed.
Oh, double damage rune on Tiny, plus 422. He is
They
scary.
can't risk a engagement though because Tiny doesn't have buyback. He has died. He died with the Aegis, he died on top lane, so he is still very vulnerable. Unless your Shadow Demon player is awesome, but he can't do that much without that few items.
Yeah, and the sneaky Nyx assassins, they will take heed. They will not
He
press
just
forward.
one-shot the entire wave.
Yeah, the double damage on Tiny.
Wait,
is
they're going for him
ridiculous.
though. This could be a nice wraparound.
Oh, they'll grab IX Mike. He'll get Electric Vortex. Gets finished off by the Marana. Now they'll continue to press forward. Whitebeard, he gets sheeped. Orchid out on the Elder Titan. They'll hop right onto the Shadow Demon. He'll be the second to fall.
Tiny
And
doesn't actually have a TB scroll, and he is kind of in no man's land. If they
he's got BOTs.
if they flank him, he doesn't have it up for 35 seconds. If they flank him right now, I think they can actually.
Oh, it's on
kill
cooldown.
him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just
my
TP'd to
bad.
top lane.
Oh, yeah.
That was a nice read by Revenge, though, knowing that he just TP'd to top lane and then immediately getting a pick. But IX Mike out of position right there, gets caught, loses the gem. That's pretty big whammy against the Marana.
Yeah, turning into a pretty close game from Revenge. They keep finding these small picks that are keeping them in the game. Roche still not onto the second part of the timer, and we'll see how long of a spawn
They just
it
need
is.
to fight 5-on-5 is
Yeah.
what they need to do.
I think Nyx Assassins just have to minimize their losses until next Roche comes out, because it will be third Roche with cheese. Slight Device used on the Tiny, and that will force him back. They've used a Dust, but actually doesn't connect with any of the heroes. Moonlight Shadow's already been used, and Tiny just denies that tower. Very hard to last hit against the branch. And he is also now level 25 arrow. Ooh, that arrow. Pretty close to hitting Ush.
Like right now, they should be in a more defensive position. They should need to be with the Shadow Demon and with their teammates, and they keep taking these engagements where they aren't close enough to help each other out in case one of them gets jumped on, and one of them
quick
will get
Roche.
jumped on with a Storm Spirit.
Yep.
Quick Roche is better for SNA, although Tiny doesn't actually have slots. I say he just drops his HOD, picks up the Aegis, and then returns it later.
Yep.
Maybe cheese on Elder Titan. Elder Titan actually has a sheep, so Storm Spirit, he has to pop BKB super early, but he has been doing that, so not that big of a
His
deal.
BKB is down to 4 seconds, though, for Storm Spirit, so that makes his life a little bit more difficult as well.
Oh, he might get a kill on bottom. They have an observer ward set up.
Oh, down bottom. Who can they grab? Maybe he can connect on the Dazzle. Yeah, there. Ooh, the Surge will be enough to keep him alive. The stolen Purge coming in handy as well, but Rubik, he just gets dropped.
And the gems down there.
And who's
Did they
gonna
not see
get
this
left?
gem?
Fluff trying to chase down Mihawk, but another fight breaking around the backside. Ush actually taking hefty damage as well. BKB now popped by the Storm. They'll go into Whitebeard. For now, the Ghost Scepter will keep him alive, and they'll just try and retreat. They don't want Ush to die right here, especially
There's
with
a
Roche
gem,
respawning.
buddies.
And, yep. Uh-oh, arrow does hit Tiny. Will they have the follow-up to come towards him, though? Disruption comes out. Storm zipping forward. Positive Earn Charge coming out. There's your wall of replica from the Darkseer. Fluff coming forward with his BKB on. They'll have enough to finish off Storm Spirit. It looks like, yeah, he gets branched down. Tiny, plenty of hit points to spare. They'll continue to pursue. There's your Scythe Device out on EO. They'll maybe have the damage to bring him down. Leaps to the low ground. Force Staff onto the Tiny. Avalanche in 5 seconds. Nowhere for this Marana to go. Buyback from the Storm. Buyback from the Dazzle now. Storm, he catches Ush. This could be the turnaround. This disruption actually helping him out. Snot takes an arrow, but 1,000. 4-digit crit. And Storm's dead for 10.
That was a
100
level
seconds.
4 Soul Catcher on him, too. I think that's a game.
Yeah.
Unless they get like a miraculous arrow on him. With wall down, they don't really have anything left to fight with. And this will be a second lane of Rex for sure. More likely than not Mega Creeps. So, Revenge with their roster change don't actually look that bad.
Yeah.
We thought no smash, no win, but they were pretty close. This stand-in was pretty ownage.
Yeah, a legit Storm Spirit player, and even the Dazzle, he was in the right place at the right time. Many an instance had a lot of clutch graves and ultimately played well. At this stage, 47 minutes in, Tiny's just too big. That's what it comes down to. They got out-carried. Mega Creeps are out, and just a matter of time until Revenge are forced to
Yeah, Shadow
GG.
Demon Tiny is just ridiculous too, because he doesn't need to get BKB because he just always just gets defensively disrupted. And on top of that, the disrupt illusions do a lot of damage. They do 60% damage, and GG will come out.
There it is.
So well played. Whew.
Yeah, Satanic on Tiny at the end. A pretty action-packed game towards the end as well. 25-36 after 48 minutes of gameplay.
Were you scared for your rares?
The sneaky Nyx Assassins. Maybe a little bit in that mid-game when it looked like Mirana might be able to start carrying a bit. That Desolator chunking down the Tiny. Dook, 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 dook. But no, my boys, the sneaky Nyx Assassins, come out ahead.
So what about Elder Titan? Do we actually feel like he had impact that game? It's really difficult to tell because everyone just does a little bit more damage. So his impact isn't very obvious.
Yeah, the natural order is not tangible. You just sort of know that it's there and everybody hits harder. It's hard to say as well because he got picked on so hard that game. He ended 4-5-18, but at the beginning, he was part of the reason that Storm had so much momentum to begin with and helped keep Revenge in the game and delayed as long as they did.
So do you think that they should have gone for like a puck instead?
Yeah, I think a more conventional mid that could have shut down the Storm Spirit would have been a little better for him. I mean, was there any play where the Elder Titan was like, all right, that Earth Splitter, they wouldn't have won the fight without it. Sure, it did some damage in some of the fights.
Natural order was really, really important in the team fights though. Like Tiny just straight up 1 or 2 shot people. Possibly because of natural order, possibly not, possibly because of crits, possibly because of not, possibly because of soul catcher. There's too many confounding variables here to make a appropriate assessment.
Yeah,
I feel like
they didn't itemize against the Elder Titan very well either.
What are they supposed to get?
Assault Karasa is really good because whoever can get it, I guess.
Storm Spirit needed those items.
Yeah, that's true. Who was going to get? I guess the Darkseer could have gotten it.
Darkseer could have gotten it. Yes, that is correct.
He had Force Staff, Ghost Scepter, and Blink. Those are. You could settle for one of those, maybe. Like
I think he needs Blink
then,
Mech, but Ghost Scepter Force Staff doesn't equal AC. It's pretty close, though.
It's pretty close. I mean, he ended that game with 3,800 gold.
You don't really need one, though, because you can just wall the Tiny, you'll get the AC yourself.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay.
It's difficult to itemize versus Elder Titan, though.
Okay, fair enough.
Because
the point I'm making is natural order just gets rid of base, so adding additional armor and magic resistance is good against him. And they didn't have any. They didn't have a Vlad's. They had an Aquila. That was their only, and Mech. Those are their only aura items.
I think that Mirana could have fought a lot more early and put even more pressure on the Elder Titan.
They played Mirana like she was a hard carry that would be able to tango with Tiny in the late game, and that's just not
the problem with Tiny is he can go defensive items that double as offensive items, like Scepter. It gives you a lot of HP. Yeah. It gives you some armor with agility, gives you some attack speed, can do more magic damage with Centaurs, and you get this magic like cleave as opposed to Chrysalis, which is very one-dimensional, single target damage. So I don't necessarily agree with the way they played Mirana. I think that Elder Titan also could have been replaced by like Puck. He would just survived a lot more, which is the important part. So we'll see. It was still pretty nice.
Beating the Storm less means they have less mid-game momentum. Still a pretty awesome game, though, and much better than we expected. We thought it would be much more one-sided with all of these stand-ins that we don't know. Still bracket, space, bracket. Could be anybody. Really have no idea who that player is.
I don't think he said enough spaces.
Yeah, okay, space. There's a lot of spaces, but... Coming up next, guys, we'll have CNB versus the North American Rejects, and then after that will be the finishing of E-Hug. They'll have their last 3 games against the Rejects, Sneaky Nyx Assassins, and then no Earth Spirit. So a lot of E-Hug games coming up after this next one, CNB versus the All-American Rejects.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.
Yeah, very short. Next match.